Regé-Jean Page is one of the biggest breakout stars from Netflix's hit series Bridgerton, not only because he played the role of the Duke of Hastings so well, but also because his chemistry with his on-screen love interest, Daphne Bridgerton, was so good. One of their best scenes was that incredible final dance between the two towards the end of Season 1, and Page has shared some interesting details about it. Let's get right into it. First things first, Regé-Jean Page's interview with Shondaland and the dances of Season 1. Some of the major things that keep people gravitating towards Bridgerton is the beautiful scenery, dramatic yet gripping storyline, costumes, and representation. But one of the most unique parts of the show is its long list of reimagined modern pop songs, such as Taylor Swift's Wildest Dreams, Rihanna's Diamonds, Madonna's Material Girl, and even Harry Styles' swoon-worthy Sign of the Times. Of course, with music, there's almost always some dramatic moment playing out or some dancing going on, and one of the most prominent dances of the series was one of the final dances that happened at the end of the first season, between the two protagonists at the time, Daphne Bridgerton and the Duke of Hastings. The dance they did actually has a name, the Viennese Waltz, and while it definitely looked flawless to the viewers, Regé-Jean Page has revealed that a lot of work went into ensuring that it was nothing less than perfect. In an interview with Shondaland back in 2020, Page sat down with the outlet to break down his character and also answer a few questions about the show as well as about himself. One of the questions the interviewer asked was about his favorite dance of the season and the one that was the most difficult to learn. Next up, Bridgerton star Regé-Jean Page said the final dance in Season 1 was physically exhausting. When asked about his favorite and most difficult dance to do, Page had two different answers. For the first question, he shared that there was a dance halfway through the series that they rehearsed to Plan B's Writing on the Wall. According to the actor, it brought him so much joy and was a real moment when the characters were able to release into each other. Page even revealed that they danced to a lot of other songs from artists like Beyoncé and Stormzy to help them find the perfect background music for their characters, before finally adding the orchestral stuff. As for the dance that he found was the hardest to do, Regé-Jean Page shared that the final dance that happened at the end of the season was actually the most physically exhausting. According to the actor, it was just really athletic, and anyone who performed them definitely had to be fit. According to Britannica, a waltz is a ballroom dance characterized by a triple turn and circular and smooth motions. The dance actually evolved back in the 18th century and then grew in popularity by the 19th century. Coming up, Regé-Jean Page had brutal workout sessions while playing the Duke of Hastings' Simon Bassett. Regé-Jean Page has a very slender and elegant physique, which, according to the star himself, took many workouts to achieve. In an interview with Mirror, Page shared that he had to put in a lot of effort to look good for his steamy sex scenes in the first season of Bridgerton. The 32-year-old actor revealed that he had to religiously follow an intense workout regime, which he compared to Rocky Balboa's workout in the Rocky franchise. According to the star, he used to wake up every day at 5 a.m., then go to the gym and meet his trainer. He jokingly shared that his trainer was horrible to me for an hour and a half every morning before the day started, and that he got all his strength up just from surviving him. Regé-Jean Page also recently talked about his current workout routine while preparing for his latest role in the film adaptation of Dungeons & Dragons. At this year's Comic-Con panel, the actor shared that he had the best of his life thanks to working out, according to Entertainment Weekly. He also said that it took lots of push-ups and lots of sit-ups during training to look the way that he does now, adding that it was lots and lots of stunts training. Moving on, Bridgerton's secrets and Easter eggs. It's going to be a bit of a while before we get to see the next season of the hit Netflix series, but you can keep yourself busy by listing some of the top Bridgerton secrets and Easter eggs from the previous two seasons. Stay focused. You might be surprised that even the biggest fans of Bridgerton might not know some of these. Let's dive right in. First up, Pall Mall got competitive. Season 2 of the show features a scene of the cast playing Pall Mall, which was a precursor to croquet. For the scene, the cast was told to actually practice the game beforehand, and it turns out they got a bit too lost in the game. In fact, the actor who plays Benedict Bridgerton, Luke Thompson, took things way further than anyone expected when he broke two of the mallets during filming. One cast member was better than all the others, and for an obvious reason. Karithra Chandran, the actress who plays Edwina Sharma on the show, actually grew up playing croquet. In an interview with E! News, the actress shared that she played a lot of croquet in her past, especially at boarding school and at university, so she was very familiar with the game. And since Pall Mall is very similar to croquet, it was more than easy for her. The actress also shared that for filming, they got sent all the rules beforehand and got to read them, but there were always people around to describe exactly what was happening. Also, while most of it was choreographed, sometimes they just record them messing about, which, in Karithra's opinion at least, was really lovely. Next up, the opening credits. A lot of people skip the opening credits, especially those that are as long as the one for Bridgerton. But for the ones that stay, even some of them might miss that the images are different in Season 2's opening credits as compared to Season 1. Now, everything is much more Anthony-centric. For example, instead of Daphne's name on the page, it's Anthony's. And instead of candles, there's the Pall Mall Wicket, referencing that iconic game from Episode 3 and the finals. Also, the dance card is replaced with Anthony's father's watch. Another interesting part that eagle-eyed fans would notice would be that in the opening credits, there's a moment where you can spot a carriage being pulled by horses. This is pretty much a reference to the book that inspired Season 2, The Viscount Who Loved Me. Towards the end of the book, Kate gets crushed by a carriage, and it's that moment that allows Anthony to finally realize just how much he truly loves her. We have a similar moment in the Netflix series. The carriage is replaced by Kate falling off her horse in Season 2. Coming up, the tea is real. On Bridgerton, there's always tea being served, both figuratively and realistically. Considering that there's always some character drinking tea on the show, a lot of people just thought that the cast was just guzzling water this whole time. But the truth is that they're actually drinking the real thing. According to Netflix, they usually prefer to use PG Twips or Twinnings. Following up, the food is not always real. Unlike the tea on Bridgerton, the food on the show isn't always real. According to, get this, the show's head food economist, Lisa Heathcote, they needed food that wouldn't spoil during any of the show's ball scenes. So most of that stuff is inedible. Still, during the actual dinner scenes, the food is real. But since the actors need to eat the food over multiple takes, it's usually made out of raw vegetables. What's more, list of potential women for Anthony to marry. During the first episode of the second season, there's a scene when Anthony is looking at a list of potential women he might want to marry. And if you were paying real close attention during the scene, you might have noticed that one of the people listed is Lady Julia, who is a romantic, and another is Miss Quinn, who is apparently an exceptional writer. This is, of course, a very obvious nod to the writer behind the original Bridgerton novels, Julia Quinn. Following up, no more sideburns. In the first season of the show, Anthony Bridgerton sported some pretty glorious sideburns that caused quite a huge stir. But interestingly, they're nowhere to be found in the second season of Bridgerton. So what's the reason? It turns out that the showrunner, Chris Van Dusen, did it intentionally to show that Anthony has transitioned from being an immature party boy to a leading man. Up next, Lady Danbury created her signature look. In an interview with New African magazine, the actress behind Adjoa Andoh, who plays Lady Danbury on Bridgerton, shared that if you looked at the Regency men of that period, they would always have a cane and a hat. And since her character was a widow, Andoh wanted to embody some of the masculine along with her feminine. And so, in a way, in order to reflect the position of wealth and power she had within a society that didn't let women have a lot of freedom, she requested a hat. Following up, Simon Bassett keeps his late mom close. If you noticed, Simon Bassett always wore a diamond and emerald-encrusted enamel brooch on his lapel during the first season of the show. And while it was never explained explicitly on the show, some eagle-eyed fans might have noticed that it actually belonged to his late mother, who died right after giving birth to him, as seen in a flashback on the show. Finally, the bee sting scene. In the scene where Anthony starts panicking after Kate gets stung by a bee, he starts to say, "Do not leave," which is the last thing Violet said to Edmund before he died after being stung. That's a wrap for this video. Did you catch any other Bridgerton secrets or Easter eggs that didn't make it on the list? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.